In this mini lesson, I want to show you my students a trick that I came up with called, I like to call it trace-bitmap-mask. So if you've been following along these um, mini lessons, you already have seen mask, a real simple mask. This is a cool technique, and I really want to show it to you as early as possible. So let's open up an ActionScript 3.0, and let's do file save as 007 trace bitmap mask. Okay, so let's see. We'll go to Safari. Let's do car. Top view. Okay, so let's do images. And lucky for us, these images are all pretty, like, the background is just real straightforward, simple, plain. This image right here would prove to be a challenge for the technique that I want to show you because the background is a gradient, and it's, well, you would see if you experiment with what I'm about to show you that would create a problem. This would probably too. You'd have to, it wouldn't be real clean. This one would not be as clean because it has that shadow, and the shadow is even the same gradients as some of the pieces of the car. So anyways, let's just take this one, and I'll right click and say copy image, go to Adobe Animate, and I'll hit Command V, paste it, and right now looks great, but that's because the background that we're using is white. If I change the background to something else, there's going to be a problem. So, because you can see this. So if you were going to make like a video game where you're controlling the car with the arrow keys, that would be a problem because you'd see this big rectangle flying around the screen with the car. So here's how we'll deal with it. Let's convert it to a symbol. So I've clicked on it, and now I'm going to hit function or FN F8, and this will be car. And now let's, you have to understand that that is now a symbol. If I try to edit it, like erase or something, it's not going to do anything to it. Actually, what did it do there? That shouldn't even, is that a glitch? Okay, yeah, it went away too, because the background can't be edited. It's just the background. So anyways, if we go inside here now, I just double-clicked. You can see I'm inside the car along this little, it's kind of like a hierarchy guide. All right, first let me show you how to use trace bitmap, because it's a little feature that I discovered early in my use of Flash, where you can actually get rid of the white background. So in the evolution of my discovery, I learned you could do this. You go bitmap, trace bitmap, just hit OK. You can change these, but it's generally not a good idea. Let's just keep it simple. Hit OK. Now I'll click off, and you can notice now that if I click the white, I could just hit delete, and now it's gone. But you also notice something's happened to the image. It doesn't look as real as it did before. It may be fine for you. That might be just fine. You might look at that and think, well, that doesn't bother me. But it might not be appealing to some people. So I'm going to undo this and get it back to the point where it was a graphic there. Now you can see. Somehow I zoomed in, zoomed out or something. I'm going to hit Command 2 so I can get it back in the center. All right, so it's still a bitmap now. If you zoom in really far, you'll see, you know, it's kind of blurry, but this is basically a bitmap. So here's the trick. It was kind of interesting to me. I was actually going to sleep one night, and I was thinking about Flash, and all of a sudden woke up out of my sleep. I was just about to fall asleep with this idea, and I ran to my computer and tried it, and it actually did work. And here's the idea that came to me. I'm going to name this layer bitmap, and then I'm going to name this layer mask. And so right now, this black dot represents the bitmap, the actual graphic that we imported, and this empty dot right here, this empty circle, represents nothing in that frame yet. But what I want to do is I want to select this, so I'm going to click on it, hit Control-C, and then I'm going to go up here and hit Command-Shift-V to paste it in exactly the same position as it was when I copied it. So now what we have basically is the same thing on two layers. I mean, if I hide this layer and then I show this one, there's the image. If I hide that one and I show this one, so they're stacked on top of each other. But something special is going to happen on the mask layer. If you remember how masking works, whatever's on this layer, you're going to see through that opening and see the car. So here's what occurred to me. If I select the mask layer, go Modify, Bitmap, Trace Bitmap, just hit OK. Now we get that kind of odd looking effect here, but really it doesn't even matter what color or what it looks like on that layer, because it's just going to be a mask. It's going to be a opening through which we see what's below. So I'm going to right click on it and say mask, and look at that. I get the best of both worlds. I get the bitmap realistic looking image, and I was able to do it relatively simply, really easy using that technique, the trace bitmap, to create the mask. So that is what I wanted to show you, and I call that trace-bitmap-mask. And by the way, if you happen to do this and you think that it didn't come out perfect, you can mess with it. Like let's see, I'm gonna click this so it just shows the outline, and then maybe I'll take, actually that's way too small, maybe I'll take my eraser, get a bigger one, and start refining it. I'm using the eraser here. So as long as it's not too much work, you can refine it, fine-tune it. And then whenever you want to see the final result, just lock it again. And generally that's what I would do. I would only mess with the parts that really kind of stand out and annoy me. So there you go. Save it,